Well, I think, for us, the first quarter of the game really went kind of right to script, like what we wanted to do. We got the ball, drove the length of the field, got ourselves into field goal range. Obviously, we want to finish and actually get points on the board. But for our first time together out there as a team, doing the little things that we're trying to do, I thought a great 6-minute drive, eating the clock and getting down into their area was phenomenal. But we didn't finish, and I think that end is kind of was the really the theme of the day for us, and that was kind of a precursor to it. I thought defensively we played really well. We had a couple breakdowns, one big run in the second half, and then they had a couple big passes to their 6'5" receiver that just he did a good job of out jumping us for the ball and was able to come down with it. But for the long haul of how we played, I thought defensively we were really sound for the run. Did a lot of the little things right. Obviously, as a coach, there's a lot of things we can nitpick at and say that we can do better at. But for the most part, I thought we had a pretty good day on that side of the ball offensively. We were in a pretty good rhythm in the first quarter, staying right along our script and doing what we wanted to accomplish. And I think once we got down there, especially the second drive, we get down there and we kick another field goal and we miss on that one as well. I think that took a little wind out of our sails, and I think it put the wind in their sails, which football, like any sport's a big momentum game. And they were able to capitalize and get a little bit more momentum, get a little confidence. It was still only 7-0 at halftime, so it wasn't like the wheels fell off or anything to that nature. But I thought that we kind of got ourselves a little bit more in scramble mode after that, trying to play catch up instead of, just trying to stay doing what we were doing and having success with. We came back in the second half, and once they scored and went up 14-0, we were still, I think, scrambling on both sides to try to keep ourselves in the game. And then I think probably midway through the third quarter, after they kicked the field goal to go up 17-0, we decided that we wanted to make sure, let's go back to what we had success with. Let's try to manage this game. Let's try to get our small victories, do the little things right, and be able to learn from what's going on here. And by no means did we say that we weren't going to try to win the football game, but we didn't want to get to the point where 4th and 15 we're just throwing bombs and trying to get ourselves back into it. We got to learn how to win the right way first, and sometimes you got to learn how to win from a loss.
Defensively, was it a little frustrating? The first half, you contained the run really well, but then they picked on you with the 6'5" kid for a bit. And in the second half, you contained him to one catch, but then they started to run on you a little bit.
Yeah, I think for the game they averaged 5 yards a carry, and our goal is to hold them to 3. I think a lot of it was helped on that 54 or 56-yard run that they broke off of the second play of the second half. I think that stunned us a little bit in terms of playing stout run defense, but I thought we got back to it. After that, we kind of regrouped. I think the biggest thing is, even on that big run, there's a couple of things that we broke down on that we've talked about, but we haven't been in a situation to really have our guys understand how they're supposed to fit based on what we called and what's happening on that run. So as discouraging as it was to see that, it's a really good building block for how we would play it next time. I think what I was more disappointed in, not even so much our fits, was on that one play. Our tackling was really bad, and we looked like a bad football team on that play, just the way we were running around and not keeping proper leverage and doing all those little things that we want to do.
Augustana, I know their last game wasn't exactly great for them either. They couldn't run the ball very well. Looking at the tape, is that something where you're like, guys, we can contain the run just as well or better, something like that?
Well, I think, for me, I'm always going to focus on stopping the run first and make somebody have to beat you with the pass. And, as we look at how Augie played and what I told our guys on Sunday, I mean, they're going to be better than they were in that game, just like we want to be better than we were in our first game. So we can't go off of that and say, well, because they didn't play very well, then that's going to be an easy game for us. It's still going to be a challenge. Augie's got enough kids that have been on that program long enough where they've won a lot of games, where they still know how to win, and that's where we're aiming for, is try to learn how to win and try to learn how to do it the right way. So I think we still need to contain the run. We know that they're going to take their deep shots. That's kind of their MO. And we got to put ourselves in good position, but we can't abandon our run defense just to be able to defend a deep shot.
What adjustments do you think you guys are going to make offensively to hopefully cap off some drives on Saturday?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, like I said, is we need to learn how to finish, and that comes not just converting on a field goal, but also not jumping off sides offensively. I think we had 3 or 4 false starts in the red zone, which is just really a lack of discipline and attention to detail. So we've definitely got to focus on that. We got to be able to learn from what we encountered. The more offensive players we put on the field into the box, the bigger our offense was, the more they put into the box defensively and clogged things up. So we got to be able to use a little physics on our side as well. And if you have an opportunity to spread some teams out to pull the pressure off, that can help open up some seams as well. And then really we got to be better at catching the football. We had way too many drops, and that's just things that we can't we can't have if we want to be successful.
Any lineup changes on either side of the ball?
Not as of today, but we haven't practiced yet. So we'll going into practice, our lineup's still exactly how it was, and then we'll see how we get through the week.
Also, your seniors, Coach, many of them are in leadership type roles. Did you see them step up in game 1 and take that role and stay confident, focused on what they're supposed to do?
Yeah, I think our seniors did exactly what I wanted them to do in terms of, not just playing like seniors, but really how we acted on the sidelines. We got ourselves down, and we needed to battle through it. We needed to be tough, and that's that grit that we talk about. And I think it's easy for a team that's had a track record of lack of success, when you're not having success, for things to kind of crumble. And that was really my biggest challenge on the sidelines. Was, okay, I'm going to make sure that we understand how we're going to play this game regardless of what the score is. And I thought our seniors did a really good job of knowing that whatever the scoreboard situation was, even if there was 5 minutes left and really the opportunity to win the game wasn't there, down 24-0, at no time were they crumbling and yelling at each other or doing any of those things. They were still there supporting each other, telling our young guys how we should be playing this, how we should be playing that, which for me is crucial, because that's going to help us 4 weeks from now, as opposed to the last 5 minutes of that game.
How much more motivated are you guys going to be to get you a win against Augustana, a team that you used to lead?
You keep coming back at me with these Augustana questions. I think for me, I don't want them to try to win a game for me by any means, and especially against whoever we're playing. To me, our focus is we've got to get better ourselves. So we're really playing ourselves this week. How can we take care of our mental mistakes and our errors? I've played Augustana the last 4 years, so there's no reason for them to have any extra motivation in terms of that. I want them to be motivated to go out and play the best they can, and if we're blessed enough to get a win, I want it to be for them and not for me.